Welcome to your Daily 5 for Thursday, April 10th, 2025. If you play video games at all, you've likely at least heard of the latest game from the studio Rebellion titled Atomfall, a game that many people are calling, the British Fallout or Fallout Britain or whatever. And this is a game, and this is a studio that's mostly known for the Sniper Elite series, which Lando and I have absolutely loved. And so I believe this is their first, at least in recent times, their first big single-player narrative game. Like I said, not that I'm sure they've probably done others, but not for quite a while. They've been kind of on the Sniper Elite train for a while because it works so well, don't get me wrong. But I looked at this game, and at first I wasn't really sure about it, but I saw that the reviews were generally they were generally pretty good to excellent. And I thought about it, and I'm sitting here going, well, there's probably, they've said there's going to be another Fallout, because of course there will be, but it's years off, and who knows how many years really, and with everything going on with Bethesda, who knows if we'll actually ever get it or if it'll be from them. But regardless, I thought, well, I haven't had a good game of this type. Now, Stalker, don't get me wrong, Stalker 2 is still excellent, and I am still playing it and still releasing videos over on the show channel, but it's a different type of game. It is a very specific type of atmospheric game with a very kind of unique and excellent, but different than a Fallout game. It isn't just a first-person Fallout. It's really its own thing, which is great, but I do miss that Fallout experience where you have these, quirky characters and this kind of specific type of world. And like I said, I watched a couple of reviews, and the game really looks excellent from what I can see. And so I went ahead and picked it up because I still have a bunch of Steam credit from selling TF2 items, which bizarrely still go for a lot of money. A game I never intend to play again, but I have all these old weapons. And boy, people will pay some crazy prices for them. So thank you very much, people who buy TF2 items. You've helped me get some games. And one of them was Atomfall. And I'm probably about 5 or 6 hours into it now. I've really just been kind of exploring, learning the controls, that type of thing. And there are some, just to be completely frank about it, there's a little bit of looseness to the controls. It's clearly, Rebellion doesn't seem to necessarily have this particular type of gameplay locked completely down, but certainly nothing that I would say should dissuade anybody from playing it. You'll just notice that if you go from certain other games, there's a little bit of floatiness to the controls. But once you get used to that, the world itself is really interesting, and it's really interesting because it's of a particular time period in British history. So they didn't do the thing like Fallout does where the technology and the culture are kind of at odds, where in Fallout, if you've never played it, the culture is still left over from the 50s and 60s, but because nuclear power was used everywhere, the technology got very advanced. So you have this strange kind of mix of new and old, whereas in Atomfall, everything is from the time period, which is the 60s. And so there's been some type of incident at a power plant, but it's not like everything is advanced. You're still going to be using time appropriate weaponry, communications, all that stuff, the way people talk, the way they dress. It feels very much like it's an old classic Doctor Who episode mixed with elements of The Prisoner, the original Prisoner run. And I really enjoy that particular setting. It's just not something you see in video games that much, certainly not in modern video games, and I don't think I've ever played a Fallout game that quite feels like this, but that's really what this feels like. This feels like there was a fan project, it may still be going, for Fallout London. Well, this is like Fallout London, except that everything stayed at the appropriate time period when whatever happened in this world, and I don't know yet, that's one of the central mysteries, whenever this event occurred, it did not come on the heels of major technological advancement. Instead, it was some kind of experimental place in the middle of a 60s Britain, and it stays that way. And so again, there's this really interesting, because I'm American, so I don't know this. British people may have a completely different reaction to this game than I do. But for somebody who's an American, who really only knows of this time period in Britain from media they consume, it is both familiar because I grew up watching Doctor Who and The Prisoner in many cases, but it also just feels like something that I don't see all that often. And so I'm enjoying it a lot. Now, I can't say how it's going to finish, so this is not a review. This is more of impressions. But I will say that Atomfall is a game that I didn't expect to like this much, but the more I've been playing it, the more interesting and unique and different it feels. And so far, that is keeping me hooked in a major way. Later.